Hello YouTube, this is LifeWithMatt back again for my second video. Gotta remember to look at the camera because I keep forgetting to look at it. So for this video I have planned to talk about my why I'm in my situation currently, why I'm making the channel. So where I maybe had some inspirations, that sort of plan. So I will just start because if you clicked on the video, it's probably why you're watching, not to hear me just ramble. So it all started back in, let's say, I think it was 2014. It was around the time I was partway through my sixth form. I started to feel pretty anxious doing presentations at college. You know, you'd have to get up in front of the class, maybe 20 people at a time, and present on a topic that you had to basically research in the course of a week. So not only, to be fair, not only was I really bad at researching the things, I also would put in the least amount of work because the more I thought about researching the topic, the more I thought about the presentation. So, you know, I would then go into class with without any knowledge whatsoever on the topic I was supposed to be presenting, which was, you know, most of the time me rambling on, just trying to push my way through the pure anxiety that I felt doing it. And it got so bad by the end of 2015 that I actually just would not even attend the classes that would have presentations coming up, or I would anticipate there being a presentation coming up. So I would pretty much skip half of my lessons, either fearing there could be a presentation coming up, or we'd been assigned one and I knew I just could not do it. This laid a horrible foundation for anxiety and depression to grow from. From there, when I left college, my sixth form, I had awful grades. I either failed or I got the equivalent of a fail, basically. I got E's, because I never attended the lessons. I was so anxious just doing the exams. I'm not someone who's very good at doing sitting exams because I just can't focus. I'm too anxious. I just work myself up. And that was kind of where it really went downhill for me. Because of my anxiety starting to develop more and more, I would not even go out with my friends. It became like a social anxiety too. I used to be very confident, and that's kind of, with this channel, it's kind of what I'm hoping to achieve again, is to rebuild my confidence. But yeah, I just stopped going out with my friends. I couldn't explain to them why I wasn't answering their messages about hanging out, or you know, avoiding them in at sixth form, things like that. So I pretty much lost all these really amazing friends I had. At which point, because I then wasn't going out with friends, I was too anxious to even leave the house, because I then had no friends. I had nothing to do outside of the house. I couldn't get a job because that was now my new anxiety. I started to think, well, I've got terrible grades, I can barely leave the house, I can't do a job. And it all started to become this low self-esteem. It became this point of, I'm too anxious because I don't like myself. I'm too anxious to get a job because I know I will mess it up. And this has gone on now for 6 years, on and off. It's been an on and off process. And I think that's the thing with anxiety or depression, is that people think it's continuous a lot of the time. I think if you haven't experienced it, you think it's continuous, and it's just not. it comes and goes, it comes in waves, sometimes it can be awful. And I had periods where I felt like I really could do something. And it was in 2018 I actually went back to college, a different college this time, and started to build up a friendship group, and my confidence started to build and build and build. And I started to think, I'm better. I'm better. I can do it. And I came out of college with fantastic results. And for me, that was another confidence boost. I thought, I've set myself up well. The next step now is university. I feel like I've got the grades. I've been accepted. There's no reason that I can't succeed in university now. Fast forward over the summer holiday to the beginning of my, I think it's 2019 introduction into university. Yeah, that didn't go so well. I created this sense of isolation in my head, and I think, again, that's something with anxiety, is that you can be surrounded by people and it feel so lonely. And I met people, even on my first day. I remember the first time I was eating lunch on my own, and it was an awful feeling. But by the end of the day, I'd met a few people who were lovely people. But because of how I was feeling, I just felt like I couldn't connect with those people. And that just set, the ground for me not being happy there. And each day I was there, I would feel more and more and more depressed because I was feeling anxious, because I felt like I wasn't fitting in, because I felt like I couldn't connect to these people, because my head was telling me I couldn't. And eventually I dropped out because of that, because every day I was thinking to myself, I can't do this. I just don't want to be here. I want to be back in my safe place, my room. The place I'd been locking myself away for years, not even leaving the house for anything, to go to the shop, anything like that. So I did quit university and I retreated back into my safe place, which, one of the worst things you can do, because well, for me, rather than pushing through, which was probably going to be a temporary thing, because it's going from a very small college to thousands of people at university is so overwhelming. But if you push through, which I should have done, you do get through it. But I didn't, because I retreated from it. So this is where I am now. I've left university and I'm thinking, crap, now what do I do? Because I feel like that bad experience has left me in a bad way. It's left me feeling back in that place before I returned to college. So I'm now in a rut. I think, what do I do? And I have a coach, so it's a bit like a therapist, but they call themselves coaches. They kind of, they're less, I want to say less medical. I'm not a professional on this, so I don't want to say things I don't know, but I'm more like a helping hand along the way. And, he's saying to me, it's the small steps. It's the small steps that matter. And he's right. And because of my fear of leaving the house, I would think that even the small steps are impossible. And here we are now. The reason I've made this channel, the reason that if you're here watching this video, these are my small steps to re-engage with the world properly, to put myself out there and feel like I can communicate with people, even if it's one or two people on the internet. It's something I avoided, going on the internet, because I didn't want to communicate with people, because I was anxious about how people would perceive me. This is all coming as ramble, so I apologise. But yeah, so I would not go online because I was scared of people judging me. so I've completely retreated into myself. But this is my small step out of my own personal lockdown. I mean, we've all been a COVID lockdown, but this has been my personal lockdown for many years, and this is my way out of it now, I believe, is to make these small steps. So like I said, even if a few people see this, if no one sees it, I've tried to make a difference for myself, and maybe if I can help people, that'd be great. And I would like to because I think even if I push through this phase, which I hope I push through to this, I would like this channel to not only kind of show the progress I'm making, but to also, I think, not always be about anxiety depression. I don't want it to be that, because I'm not professional on it. I want it to evolve into something that's more almost like a social hub, you could say. So I want it to be more when I'm able to do more for the channel. Even just to, you know, I always really like these videos where they explore haunted locations. Things like that. Things someone my age, 24, should be doing. But the first things first is to deal with the things that affect me most, which is anxiety. So I would like to see this progress. I think it'd be nice to look back at this video in a year's time, 2 years' time, whatever, and see the progress that's been made. See if I could become more confident on camera, because at the moment it's not great for me. But hopefully with time I will become more confident, and that will show to people if they find the channel, or just to myself if I look back on it. So yeah, that's a very rambly way, and I might read you this video at some point anyway, of kind of my reasoning for being on this channel on YouTube and kind of how I've got here. I have to say though, big inspiration, the Waffling podcast with Joe Weller, Theo Baker and Luke Martin. Massive props then, because I don't think I would have the confidence to talk about this if it wasn't for watching their podcast and the way in which they talk to each other about how they feel. And I think particularly the way Joe goes through these episodes, kind of I can relate to that. Massive inspiration. I mean, they're my age, but they are so inspirational to so many people. Me being one of those people they've inspired. So yeah, I'll end this video here, because that was just a quick explanation. I mean, it's almost 50 minutes, but hoping to improve camera quality. I'm using a mobile. I have no money because I can't leave the house, but we will change that. I will get a job, so that will change. I'm hoping. I freaking hope I can get a decent camera, because I'm looking at myself, but I should be looking at the camera. It's very difficult. So yeah, if you've watched this, thank you. I appreciate it very much. If not, well, I'm happy to look back on these videos. So, thank you very much. This is Life with Matt. Goodbye.